Massive intensification in US operations, US and Israeli operations in Iran. Israel has pounded Iran. It's a fresh wave of massive airstrikes and missile strikes, specifically on pinpointed targets of the force, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, and also on the Basij. Images that we're about to show you of strikes in the Bochen area. Now, massive blasts are seen, plumes of smoke are rising, and black smoke has engulfed. It's a pinpointed strike. It's a pinpointed strike, we are told, at symbols of the regime and places where you have members of the regime still hold up, according to Israel. So the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and the Basij forces that are loyal to late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and the Islamic regime, those forces are systematically being targeted right now. I want to bring in my colleague Sandeep Unnithan for more on this. Sandeep, massive intensification of operations, air, land, sea, and subsurface. It's a multi-pronged offensive, quite the double in intensity compared to shock and awe in 2003.
Absolutely, Gaurav. What we are seeing with this new operation launched by the United States against Iran, it is the most intense military operation of the 21st century. We have never seen this multiple dimensions enter the conflict near simultaneously: subsurface, surface, air, and ground. So this is a campaign of the kind that we have not seen in a very long time, and certainly not in the 21st century, because as you mentioned, shock and awe in 2003 was primarily air and ground. There was a very small naval element to this. But as of yesterday, the naval maritime aspect of this has been expanded, Gaurav. The United States Navy has started targeting Iranian warships wherever they are. The sinking of the Iris Dena was one of that first thing that we saw in real time. 20 other warships of the Iranian Navy have been destroyed, and the Iranian Navy is now down to just possibly their last 2 kilo-class submarines, Gaurav, which are unaccounted for and possibly out there in the Arabian Sea somewhere.
I'll come to submarine power, Iran's dwindling submarine power, considering a kilo-class submarine has also been sunk. But for a moment, Sandeep, just stay with me for a moment. West Asia war theater is expanding, and dangerous escalation and expansion. Again, on camera, I want to show you some of these projectiles that are being fired from Beirut. From Beirut. These are projectiles being fired. Take a look. It's believed to be fired. This is being fired from Beirut into Israel. Hezbollah and pro-Iranian groups are firing these projectiles according to information that's coming in, and this is from the southern suburbs. Remember, Israel had directed people in Beirut to vacate their homes, said move to safer areas because now we are going after the Hezbollah with intensity. What we are also being told that troops on ground are moving in. So what Israel is systematically doing is pushing back its borders closer into the territory from where it can dominate any location. I once again want to quickly bring in Sandeep Unnithan. Sandeep, the manner in which Israel is prosecuting its operations and prosecuting the Hezbollah, massive escalation, the Hezbollah still continues to strike.
Yes, Gaurav, and Hezbollah and the Houthis are the last two elements of the axis of resistance, Iran's axis of resistance, and they've been severely degraded since the 7th of October 2023 by US and Israelis airstrikes, particularly Israeli airstrikes. Hezbollah has been thoroughly disorganized. It's been hit very badly. The Houthis still retain some capacity, some capability to retaliate. But Hezbollah clearly has been asked to step up its operations because this is the protection of Iran now. I mean, the future of Iran is at stake. So possibly there are reports that the Shahid 136 that struck Cyprus may not have come from Iran. There's a statement to that effect from the British. Now that possibly leaves only one other option. If it isn't a false flag operation, Gaurav, then it is very likely that that Shahid was fired from Lebanon. And that could possibly explain this escalation of operations in southern Lebanon, which is the stronghold of the Hezbollah, Gaurav.
Okay, Sandeep, stay with me for a moment. There are more breaking news coming in. The United States has just released images of a massive strike that has taken place, destroying rocket launchers and missile launchers deep inside the Iranian territory. So Iran's mobile missile launch system is being destroyed, as you can see in these infrared images. What Iran does is keeps those rocket launchers and missile launchers well hidden. They bring them out, launch the attack, and then take them back underground or to a safer location. And they're parked in such a way that they will merge with other vehicles or other trucks in the region. The US has struck all of these rocket launchers that are missile launchers, the transport erectable launchers. These are mobile missile launchers with precision. The effort to eliminate the Iranian regime's mobile missile launch capabilities is intensifying. And what are the Americans saying? We find them, we destroy them, each one destroyed, there is no replacement. I want to bring Sandeep Unnithan once again into this conversation. Sandeep, the destruction of the transport erectable launchers, it just goes on to show with precision how America and Israel is able to take them down, and there's nothing much Iran can do, because the moment you launch, there's a huge ball of fire. That area is lit up. So satellites, surveillance aircraft, drones, everything will see them, and within seconds, there's a counterattack.
Yes, absolutely. And Gaurav, you know, this is to give our viewers an idea of what is going on right now in Iran. This is exactly what we saw during the Kargil war, when you had artillery exchanges and you had Pakistan, you know, firing back at us because they had those firefinder radars, the ANTPQ fire location
37.
radar. So
Yes.
this is a different kind of a warfare where, as you mentioned, there is a huge amount of surveillance right now on the skies over Iran. Practically all the suspected areas where the TELs are being deployed, the so-called missile cities, are under intense surveillance, because when a missile fires, Gaurav, as you mentioned, there is a bloom. There is a bloom on infrared sensors, which immediately pinpoints the location of that. And then the air assets basically swing in a few minutes and launch a counter bombardment. They basically try and target the TELs. Now, this is a very interesting aspect of the conflict, Gaurav, because Iran may have 5,000 ballistic missiles. That's the number that's been talked about. But it does not have 5,000 transporter erector launchers. The TELs are just a few hundred. So which means that if you target a certain number of TELs, you degrade Iran's capability to launch ballistic missiles. So right now, the focus of the US and Iran, Israeli forces, air forces, appears to be on targeting the transporter erector launchers wherever they need. The main goal, the aim right now is to degrade Iran's ability to launch ballistic missiles, to launch drones, to launch cruise missiles. So this is the strategy that we're seeing at place. And what you're seeing on screens right now is the targeting of the TELs. You know, this has happened in the past, Gaurav, if you remember,
Yes.
Desert Storm 1 in 1991, 35 years back. The UK and the US launched what was called a Scud hunt, where they went after Saddam Hussein's Scud launchers in western Iraq. A similar scenario is now unfolding, but on a much bigger scale across the territory
And
of
how
Iran.
technology has changed, Sandeep, from the times when we were covering the Kargil war. That time, India lacked those ANTPQ-37 WLRs of weapon locating radars, and some of our artillery pieces were in the line of Pakistani fire because Pakistan had the weapon locating radars that triangulate from the arc of the weapon of the shell. They triangulate where that shell would have come from, and now you have the weapon locating radars, you have the drones, you have the satellites, you have the fighter jets, you have the surveillance aircraft. So you know, the battlefield is virtually naked, Sandeep, nowhere to hide.
Yes, nowhere to hide, Gaurav. And you know, that is the big lesson of this war. We are watching it from the safety of our shores here, a few thousand kilometers away. But there are huge lessons for us to draw from this. One is that, as you mentioned, the battlefield is transparent, Gaurav. If you have the ability to generate the kind of sorties, if you have satellite cover, drones, The battlefield is transparent. There's nowhere to hide, literally. Anything that's out in the open can be detected, tracked, and attacked.
Oh, absolutely. And the good old days, you always wanted to know what's happening on the other side of the hill. Right now, you know everything that's happening on the other side of the hill except what's under the hill. And that is where Iran has its under the mountain missile cities and silos. And we still do not know how many launchers hidden inside those mountains that the ground penetration bombs can also, at least as of now, haven't been able to destroy completely.